Alright, so this is my first video on printmaking. In this video I'm going to be showing how to use different wood carving tools to create a variety of different effects. So I currently have in progress a large wood block that I'm working on called the Nightwalker, and I'll show you that in a minute. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show a variety of tools and describe each one and name each one. And then on the wood block directly, what I'll do is show how the tools are used and how they can be used to create a different types of effects and different types of marks, and which tools work best for each type of mark. So this is the wood block I'm working on currently. Like I said, this is called the Nightwalker. Have this figure of a older man with this sort of star system up here. There's a body of water over here. It's I don't know. It's only about a quarter of the way finished, maybe less. I'm not really sure. But anyway, what I'm going to do is show these tools, and I'll just say what each one is, and then in a moment I'll demonstrate them directly on the block. There's really basically two types of carving tools that are used to create the majority of marks. So you have U and V gouges. That's U and V. This is a U and a V gouge here. The first one's a U gouge, the second one's a V gouge, although you probably can't see the difference from there. So what I'll do is I'll show you here. So these two, you can probably see. I don't know how well you can see, but you can probably see the difference. This is shaped like a V, this is shaped like a U. And so they produce very different types of marks. This will produce like a broader stroke. For example, in here, some of these marks are U gouge marks, whereas the thinner lines are V gouge marks. So I guess you could think of it that way, like one is a broader stroke and one is a thinner one. And those come in all kinds of different sizes. So the first two I have here are pretty high quality. They're fairly pricey. I got these at McLean's, as I did the rest of the stuff. I'll post that somewhere in the links. So all the tools have different sizes, and the size is marked at the bottom of the tool. And so, ones like this is 1.5 millimeter. So you can see the difference. This is a U gouge. And you can see the difference between a 1.5 and a 6 millimeter, which is right here. And the smallest ones I have, these ones are actually 1 millimeter, so this is for doing very fine, detailed work. The last two tools here, so I have a knife here. This is just called a knife, and this is a chisel. So the knife is used actually for carving straight lines. It's like you can draw, or actually you can curve it too. But it's like you're just cutting into the board, and it actually won't leave a printmaking mark that will show up. What you do is you often cut out an area and then you hollow it out, or you use it as a kind of boundary. I'll show that later. And the chisel is actually good for like carving out large areas. Actually, I don't think I've used the chisel on this piece yet, although I could have used it here to create this mark. I think I might have used something else at the time. And then the last thing is the sharpening block, which I'll demonstrate later. This is a 1 millimeter U gouge. So I'm going to use this to just make a few marks on here. And in fact, I'm going to repeat a mark I've already made. So I have this triangle here, and so I'm going to create another one. So you hold them like this. You can see that. Let me see. So you kind of push down with your finger and you sort of draw it like that across the board. So I'm going to go in and do this. Sometimes you can direct with your other hand too. So I'm just doing this pretty quickly. Going this way. Okay, so I made the outline of it. Sometimes you can hollow these out with a larger tool, but it's not really necessary for this. I'm just going to hollow that out. If the area is small, you don't need to hollow it out with a larger tool. So There you go. What I'll do now is, on some of these I have created a mark like that, a circle. This one's obviously larger, and then I've gone back with a V gouge, which creates a finer mark, and I've sort of given it, I don't know, like a starburst pattern, I suppose. So what you do is you just do that and you push back in, and you can do that around. I would usually come around the board, walk around the board, but I'm not going to do that right now. It's actually good if you can, you have an area where you can walk around easily. But this one I'm just doing on a tabletop. Okay, so now I'm going to use the U-gouge to carve out maybe a more complex shape. So I'm using two hands here just to guide it to create the outline of an ear. I'm going to actually walk around as I do this, depending on where it goes. Sometimes that actually wasn't very clean. You have to get the pressure right. You have to be able to know how to like turn your body, when to cut back. So I'm cutting back into it, sort of. I mean, that's a decent enough outline. And I'm going to make a few marks with the V gouge that are going to be very fine. So what I'll do is I just want to show you how fine these can get. Sometimes you need to dig, again, you need to dig into them deeper when you actually print. But this will give you a very thin, fine mark. Just a few there. So that's that. You can see how this central element is, I don't know, it's shaped like an ellipse kind of. And so that's done by, let's see if I can create one, maybe right about here. So just push down, and then you sort of like lighten your pressure as you come up. So it gives you that shape. And so these ones I was kind of surrounding with finer marks. I'm just going to use the larger V-gouge to make those. Just do two for the moment. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing how you use the knife and the chisel, which is the last two tools I want to show. So I have this faint outline of a tree right here, which I've sketched on ahead of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife, see that? And I'm going to outline the base of the tree, just like this. Just going to follow that line. So as I said before, if you tried to print this, it won't show up. But what you do is you make these marks. You can sort of draw with this. It's pretty flexible. And then you can go in and carve out space, and once you hit that mark you've made, it will just kind of stop. So you can see I'm starting from one point. Oops, it's a bit deep. It doesn't matter. Going to another point. So, if I was doing this without the knife marks, you wouldn't get that sharp contour, that defined line at the edge. So this is pretty good for, clearing space quickly. And then, oops, if you want to go deeper, which is sometimes necessary. Sometimes the first set of marks you make aren't deep enough to register properly. You can go back in and carve out a little bit more. It's a bit of a mess. Last thing I'm going to show is how to use this sharpening block. And I'm going to sharpen this U-gouge. So what I've done here is I've applied, to be honest I don't know what this is called. You apply this to your sharpening block, and then what you do is you drag the tool towards yourself. It's usually held at about a 25 to 30 degree angle. So you just keep pulling back like that, and you just do this for a while. You're slowly sharpening it. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments at the bottom of the video, and I'll try to answer any questions you might have. Thanks.